Okay, all right, look, this needs to stop, yeah? Like, this has to be a joke. I know that we've all had fun speculating about the dream matchups and those super fights that Dana White hinted at ages ago, and then he just literally never mentioned it again. But this is ridiculous, yeah? Like, this bit of news came out. We're going to talk about it. It came out in Aspinal's comments on a potential matchup with Powhatan, Alex Pereira, and every single channel seems to be covering the absolute GOAT, Sean Strickland, at the moment at UFC 297. So I've got nothing to say about that hasn't already been said about 297, other than, can we please have a draw? I don't want Drickus to lose. He is such an interesting fighter to me, but I don't want to miss out on more Sean Strickland pay-per-view level press conferences in the future. It's just hitting differently when Sean Strickland is on a pay-per-view rather than when he's tucked away at the apex. Anyway, let's get right into this video's topic. It's on Tom Aspinall versus Powhatan. Now, would I watch that fight? Yes. Do I think that that fight is at all competitive? Firstly, sorry. This is all coming off Alex's recent comments on his YouTube channel about being down to fight Powhatan. I'll pop those comments up right here, right now. Now, do I think that that fight is competitive at all? It's not even close. It's not even a little bit close. It is so unfair to put Powhatan in there with Tom Aspinall. It would be, you know how Chael Sonnen often says it would be illegal for them to do that? Not illegal, it would be wrong of them to do that. They'd be working against the safety of the fighter. That's what it would be like if you put Powhatan in there against Tom Aspinall. Like, I think I have a better chance at becoming the lightweight world champion as a 35-year-old drywaller with little more fight experience than a few street scraps of when I was growing up than Powhatan has of beating Tom Aspinall. And that's harsh. That's a really harsh thing to say. And I love Alex Pereira. He's an amazing striker. He's already brought a whole new level of fun to two separate weight divisions. Thank God that we have Alex Pereira in the UFC. But him versus Tommy, just stop it. Stop. It's silly. It's a silly thing to suggest. It's like saying that Holloway has a chance against Justin Gaethje. You know, it's silly. It's silly. As much as Alex Pereira is a scary dude, a prime, well-rounded heavyweight like Tom Aspinall is just way too big of a fight for him. It could be just a very straightforward first-round finish for Tom Aspinall. Like, Powhatan, he gets touched on the chin, and, you know, a punch, a jab from a natural, fluid heavyweight, like, oh my God, that would be like a car driving into someone's face. Even if he did bulk up an extra, say, 20 pounds, Tom could just take him down and submit him quicker than John did to Cyril Gane. Like, Tom Aspinall grew up in a grappling jiu-jitsu family, and Powhatan was being controlled, like, pretty handedly by, Jan Blachowicz. Powhatan was being handled pretty well by Jan Blachowicz. He's been, like, the whole thing with Alex Pereira is we need to see how he's tested against a real hardcore grappler, which is why I made the case for Magomed Ankalaev, because I do want to see the best versus the best. And Tom Aspinall's grappling game is just as good as his striking game, and his striking game is devastating. So even if Powhatan was to put on a little bit of extra weight, the thing is that John Jones came from that background of wrestling, and heavyweight is one of those divisions where they suck against wrestlers. So there was that opening there for someone with such elite wrestling like John Jones. Powhatan is a stand-up kickboxing rangy striker in a division that is built on power punches. Like, just think about this. If Alex Pereira was able to get knocked out by a 185-pounder, how competitive do you think his chin is going to be at heavyweight? If this fight was to happen, this is how I see this going. Alex takes the center of the cage, and Tom circles around and throws a few of those stepping in feints that he likes to throw. And Alex remains poised and does these little side hops to stay away from Tom. And Tom, like, pumps out a bit of a feinty jab. Alex does that head back movement where he dodges it by just a little bit. And then Tom pumps out a jab and hides a merciless calf kick off it and knocks Alex off balance. And then by the time that Alex finds himself, Tom has already launched a quick 1-2, the same one that he finished off Pavlovich with, yeah? And that world famous, memeable jawline of Alex gets caved in like a bomb has gone off under a building. Imagine one leg kick from Tom Aspinall landing on Alex Pereira. I mean, Alex Pereira is a tall, spidery figure of a human being. Those long, thin legs. And Tom Aspinall should be a rugby player. He should be a rugby player with those thick tree trunks. Those like massive tanks of legs. Imagine one of those tree trunks slamming into one of the pieces of ramen noodle legs that Alex Pereira has. And I enjoy Alex Pereira so much that I do not want to see him like Conor McGregor, Anderson Silva, Weidman, just lying on the cage with his legs snapped in half. That is not a fun time. That is not the UFC 300 main event that I want. Although UFC 300 is now stacking up to be one of the greatest cards of all time, and to have a brutal leg snap, no, gross, no one wants that. But the headline, no. Although crazy, it would make craziness. It would be crazy, but we don't want that. We don't want that at all. I don't want that for Alex Pereira. He has got so much fun that he can have at light heavyweight. That division is now starting to have this awesome little paper, scissors, rock going on in there, that there are so many different ways that you could make matchups there. If Izzy does come back and does another title defense, I can see them having that storyline somewhere in the future. And we've seen what happens if fighters go through a horrific injury, and Alex Pereira's skinny legs in front of Tom Aspinall's absolute weapons scares me so much. And that is just the leg kicks. Then there's the striking on top of that. There's the grappling on top of that. Honestly, if Tom Aspinall just submitted him, that would be merciful. And yeah, that's what I think about that fight. I think it's a ridiculous thing to even consider. We need to stop talking about it. And especially now that even more fights have been announced for UFC 300, UFC 300 is stacking up to be one of the greatest cards put on of all time. You know, once you move past the Bo Nickel fight and the Jim Miller fight, every single fight either has a former champion or a champion on it. It is crazy stacked. So we don't need to have this pretend super fight of Pereira versus Tom Aspinall for the interim title. It doesn't need to happen. I mean, imagine if Pereira actually won that, not that he could. If Alex Pereira actually did beat Tom Aspinall, then Tom Aspinall, the best chance that we have at having some stability at heavyweight, would then be taken out of the picture as well. We just don't need that. So as much as I enjoy the conversation and it's fun to fantasize, if this was UFC 4 or 5, whatever video game of UFC we're up to, UFC 5. If this was UFC 5, go ahead and make that fight. Go home, play it on the Xbox, chuck it on the PlayStation, enjoy that fight. But this actual talk, this real conversation of Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall, no, needs to stop. Ridiculous fight to even consider. That's my thoughts on that fight. Let me know yours down there in the comments. Maybe I'm seeing this completely wrong. Maybe you believe that Alex Pereira can win that fight. Let me hear about it down there in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, you're still here watching at this part, then maybe you've been entertained in some way. If you could say thank you by going ahead and hitting that subscribe button down there, that means so much to small content creators like myself. And of course, I'll see you all in the next video.